This is the final episode of Subnautica. I've reached this point. It's the last one. It's a big moment. Monumentous. Well, that's a word, isn't it? Monumental? Momentous. Those two words. One of those. Or both. As I said in the last video, there's a load of things I want to get done before I leave. Like a little bucket list of things I want to do before I blast off from the planet. And so I have that list written down. And along with that list, I also want to go through the like the logs and stuff, like stuff I scanned. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played. The stuff I've scanned to read through everything and get like a full immerse myself in the world. If you do not want to watch that, if you're only interested in seeing like the end and the launch of the ship, then I guess skip forward to this timestamp I'm going to put on screen now. But obviously, everyone's going to stay for the whole thing because it's me and it's hopefully I'm mildly entertaining. Play. So how long have I been playing this? The last time I played was 19th of June. It's currently the 13th of July. I have, however, been on since, but only to swim around and get screenshots for thumbnails and things. So I've played the game since, I've just not played it, like, properly played it since. 3 days, 6 hours. So, over 80 hours in this game. Great stuff. I'm going to be sad. I know that I've got below zero to play. I also know this game's got a lot of mods. So if I wanted to keep playing it, I could easily download some mods and do that. But I need to move on to some other games first, because I always mix up the games. I don't want to do the same game twice in a row in terms of like playthroughs. But like this might be the kind of game where I'll come back to in the future and add some mods on, because I think that'll be very fun. Where's my dragon? Where are you? What are you killing? I love how they just go through the floor. I understand they've probably done this. Where's it going to come out? I get that they've probably done this in order to prevent it from accidentally getting stuck. Because I could see these things accidentally getting stuck in the walls and stuff, and then they're not threatening. So if you make it so they can go through walls and floors and things, it means that they can constantly keep moving around. Okay, so the list of things I need to do today. I have them written down over here. So, I need to visit the 3 unvisited alien caches. I believe I went on and I marked them. Yes, I did. So we have the Dune Sanctuary cache, we have the Blood Kelp Zone Sanctuary, and then there's one more Sparse Reef cache. So I've already marked the locations. I need to go and visit those, because they are 3 alien places that I've not been to yet. The next thing I want to do is I want to kill a Leviathan. I want to get rid of one Leviathan. And the one I've chosen to be my victim is the Ghost Leviathan Juvenile that is near my base in the Lost River, because that one has caused me the most problems. It's destroyed like 1 or 2 of my ships, and it's also nearly destroyed my Cyclops. So that one is that is my white whale. I'm going to go knife it to death. I didn't know this, but there's time capsules, time capsule packages. These things, these are from players. I didn't know this. I thought that these were things that were like randomly scattered around the world that you could collect. These, apparently, when you finish the game, you get to make a time capsule and you put it into your rocket, and it has a chance of being distributed to another player. And it gives you items, like special items, and also you get to see what other players have said. So this is someone else's base. So when I got this, I had no idea what I was looking at, but this is somebody else's base, which seems to be built in the same place mine currently is, isn't it? Or at least near enough. And they've said, best of luck, here's a little something to help. So whenever I got these, I got items. I didn't know this. I got free items. It's where some of the... where I have duplicates of things. It's where they came from. It's your lucky day. I'm a time capsule. So this is someone's screenshot, I'm guessing, from inside the rocket? That's what it could be. One small step for man, one giant leap for Subnautica. So someone's taking a lovely picture. Hi, it's Awesome Crunch from the past. Hope the whole survival thing works out. It's pretty tough. You get there eventually. Hopefully. Out. So this person has done this. What's this one? TC. Oh, someone that... I think someone's trying to do, like, a believable, like, star date kind of thing. Time capsule, whatever number. I almost hate to leave. It's time for me to go home. While this place is very pretty, it's also very lonely. I hope these supplies will serve you well. Good luck out here, survivor. If you ever feel like you're getting lost and you don't know where to go, dive deep. That's kind of nice. The ocean. The ocean doesn't have you, nor does it love you. It simply is what it is. Learn to exist alongside it. It's a very poetic phrase. First thing we'll do, we'll open up with an actual travel mission. So we're going to go to the first one of the caches, and we're going to investigate. I need tablets for these, right? I think most of them are purple or orange. Purple, I've already got them ready. See, look, I'm all prepared. I've just stopped pressing tab. I'm all prepared. Oops.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Thanks, Habitat. Trying to think what I would have as my screenshot for my time capsule. Might take this as one. Is it F11? Yeah. It's a nice screenshot of my base. Oh, if it had one of the dragon above. Great. Anyway. I've had a great time playing this game. Even people who have watched me play this and not played themselves, I would still recommend it. Because this is one of those games where everyone's experience is different. Where am I going? I think north is the closest. Or maybe, actually, the closest might be to go to the island. I need to be careful here, though, because I'm sure that the place I'm going is surrounded by Leviathans. And I'd rather not get into a fight with one of the ones I don't want to kill. Yeah, Geronimo 360. Woo. You still dying? Yeah. I mean, I guess you're thousands of years old. It takes you a while to die. Right. Oh, I just realised I need to remember to have food and drink and stuff on me. Ah, it's fine. I'll get over it. I've got plenty of little bases knocking around, and they've all got those lantern trees in. So, I imagine I'll be okay. Right, where am I going? So, there's one of the caches over there. That one's very far away. Okay, Blood Kelp Zone is the closest one. That's only 1,000 meters away. Let's go towards this one first. So these, I found one of these before, which are, they're like the little alien places, but you don't need to go to them for the story. You get extra lore, extra information, but you don't need to go there to actually finish the game. They're just additional places to go to, which I like games having. I think if every single place you need to go to is specifically necessary, I think it's a little less interesting to explore. I do, however, need to keep a very close eye out, as I said, for Leviathans, because I know that some of these areas that I went to when I was placing my beacons down, I had to dodge Leviathans going through. Whenever I hear Leviathan, I just think about the fact that it was Dave Bautista's original wrestling name when he joined WWE. And I just imagine you're dodgy Batistas. Ah, Dave Bautista, you know, the star of the Scorpion King 3. One of the stars of the Scorpion King 3. If anybody hasn't watched it, I'm doing like video essays on various things, and currently I'm doing ones on the Scorpion King movies. Where am I going? Oh, 300 meters. I'm currently doing one... There's one of my bases. I'm currently doing ones on the Scorpion King movies, and I've just watched Scorpion King 3. And Dave Bautista was a surprise appearance in it. There's some big actors in that third film. I'm not saying it makes the film any better, but it's got... it's got Dave Bautista, it's got Ron Perlman, it's got Billy Zane, it's got... what's his name? Boba Fett. I can never remember his name. The actor who plays Jango Fett and then Boba Fett. He's in it. Where am I looking? There. How do I get to this? Is this might be the one that's like inside a giant crack. Ah, that's it. Temwera Morrison. I can hear a woman singing. That's new. It's probably not new, but I don't think I've ever heard that like audio in the background before. I must have heard it before. Maybe it's something to do with this area. Maybe each zone's got different music, and because I don't come here very often, I've not heard it for a while. Right. Anyway, here we are. So this is the first of the caches, which is the Blood Kelp Zone Sanctuary cache. So I found these by going on. There's a map online. If you type in Subnautica map, there's a map that has all of the locations on. So I used that to find the places that I'd not been yet. So the place that I'm going to in this particular episode, I have looked up. I'm going to be honest about that. These aren't like I haven't accidentally stumbled. Because like I said, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything in the game. I wanted to get everything out of it I could so I could feel like I've completely finished it. So, purple tablet. Okay, what's in here? So each one of these caches usually has like a reason to exist. So it looks like this one gives you some iron cubes, which at the moment isn't particularly useful. It would have been useful early on when I didn't have access to the unlimited supply. Nothing to scan. And then there's just this terminal. I guess this is it. It's a little bit less interesting than I thought. Alien Sanctuary data.
Integrating new PDA data.
Okay, well, we'll give that a read, but we will also give some other stuff a read. Because that is also the point of this. I want to go through and read a bunch of the entries that I've not read yet. Because I know people... So, when I play Below Zero, I am going to read the entries that I get, the data entries and things, every time I get one. Because in my mind, I was like, I don't want to sit here and read stuff when I'm supposed to be playing the game, and people are watching me play the game. But I've now realised that's stupid, because that's part of the game, and that's also why people are watching me play it. So I'm going to be reading the things as we go, and then I'll learn more information as we go along. But the compromise for this is that I'm doing it all in this one episode. Okay. Right, let's get somewhere safe. I know I was near one of my bases. I think, which one was it? Was it Saturn I was near? So if I can get back to that base. Mars. Neptune, there it is. We can then sit in there safe, and we'll read the first of our entries today. I'm going to figure out how many entries I can read per pause, just so we're not spending the whole time sat there reading. But like I said, I'm interesting, and people should find me interesting. I definitely have issues worrying that I'm not entertaining enough. Yeah, I need to get over that, because people are obviously watching these things. So I'm entertaining enough where I need to stop worrying about it. And just get on with it. People don't like me, it's their problem. Oh, there's no power in this, is there? Fine. There we go.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Right, let's do some reading. So, how many things have I got to do today? I've got 2 more caches. Then I've got to kill Leviathan. I need to go and... I think the Cuddlefish are inside the... I think I put them inside my other base. So they should hatch while I'm on. I want to release a lot of my fish. Because I think I'm going to release my fish into the wild. And then they're not going to be in captivity when I leave the planet. Because that's just me. The egg. So there's 5 things I'm going to be doing. And we have... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things here. This one doesn't count. What's survival package? Oh, that's literally survival. Okay, so we've got 5 of them. So we can read through one in between each thing. So we've got 5 things left to do. No, 5 things left to do. That's fine. We'll read it. Okay, so we're going to start with advanced theories. So there's some of these I have read, but I'm going to go over them again. So we're all going to get to read these together. So, advanced theories on alien eggs. The evidence suggests that a substantial number, if not all, of the local species reproduce through egg laying. Eggs can be found resting on the seafloor, buried beneath detritus, or even wedged into cracks in the rock. Something I don't like about the game, I'm going to mention this now because I know I'll forget. You can't get every single fish as an egg to put into your aquarium. There's some fish that I really like the designs of, mostly the rays. I like the rays, but I can't get the ghost rays, whatever they're called, the ones in the Lost River. You can't get the magma rays. The only ones you can get are the ones that the light rays, or whatever they're called, the ones that I've got. They're the only ones you can have, and so that's why my tank is full of all of them, because they were the fish I really liked, and there was only one type of egg, and I don't know why, because it seems a bit weird. The mobs, they're already implemented. You just need to scale them down a bit. So it's a bit weird that they didn't put all of the eggs in, but I guess like it could be a space thing or a time thing, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, I just wish I could get all of the eggs. Different species likely favour different biomes as their nesting grounds. I mean, that's just animals in general. Eggs discovered in the wild are in some form of natural stasis, likely awaiting ideal conditions in which to hatch, or the delivery of some vital enzyme which will kickstart the process. So this is hinting as well towards the Emperor Leviathans, which can't hatch unless they've got the specific enzymes from like the entire ocean. It is impossible to calculate the species of the egg from the exterior. However, it may be possible to stimulate a hatching response if an egg is relocated to a suitable alien containment unit. So every egg you find is like a mystery egg, and then when you put them inside your tank and they hatch, you then discover what the egg is. So while I was swimming earlier, it said bone shark egg discovered, because one of the fish that I put into my tank was a bone shark. Bacterial infection report. So this, I must have got this when I first got infected. You've been infected with a previously unknown waterborne bacterium. It is currently multiplying in your bloodstream. Estimated incubation time 2 weeks. Out of curiosity, if you did stay in the game for 2 weeks without curing yourself, would you die? Is there a time limit on how long you can stay? Or is it just assuming that you will be, like, fine until you progress the story? I'm curious as to whether anyone's actually tested that. Your immune system is currently combating the infection at low efficacy. You may already be experiencing flu-like symptoms and skin irritation. These will likely be exacerbated as the bacterium takes hold. There weren't really many visual indicators for me, aside from when I either scanned myself or he reacted by looking at his hands. There weren't many visual indicators that I was that infected. Maybe that could have been something that could have added, like, maybe you get like a light haze around the edge of the screen the further into the that you get, but I guess that could have been a bit annoying if they'd done that. Your immediate priority should be the abatement and eradication of the infection, naturally. Recommended steps: salvage further alien research data on possible vaccine, investigate the mechanisms which have enabled the indigenous ecosystem to inhibit the symptoms of the infection. So, that was part of the plot we were doing. We were trying to find whether or not the aliens had developed a vaccine, and we were investigating how the creatures had survived, which we now know. We know that they didn't fully finish their vaccine, but the creatures have survived. The fish just swim through the wall. We know they survived because the Emperor Leviathan was producing enzymes, which it was then using the peepers to send that up into the environment to keep everything alive. Something like that. I mean, here we are, enzyme host peeper. A peeper specimen was observed emitting a faint fluorescent enzyme trail and engaging in unusual behavioural patterns. The peeper is actively approaching other creatures, including predators. The specimen is host to a bacterial infection, however the infection is currently dormant. Peeper's stomach cavity contains an unknown enzyme of foreign origin. So the Sea Emperor was keeping everything alive using these peepers. It was using its like psychic mind control powers to send the peepers to keep everything to keep everything alive. Chemical analysis of enzyme bears some superficial similarity to the stomach enzymes of larger predators. So it's a similar stomach enzyme to a larger predator because that is from a larger creature. Contact with the enzyme appears to inhibit the symptoms of the bacterial infection. Complex structure renders synthesis impossible. So you can't make it yourself. There's no way to manufacture this enzyme. Assessment: recommend further research into enzyme. Fair enough. And then here, this is when we were in the facility, the prison facility, we could see the peepers being like coming in and leaving. That was the process of this happening. The outflow pipes are filled with peepers travelling back to the surface. They show no symptoms of infection because they have the enzyme 42. They're carrying enzyme 42, which inhibits the bacterium. Specimens' stomach cavities are otherwise empty, suggesting they may have purged the contents before entering the pipes. If peepers have evolved to distribute the enzyme via the pipe network, this may explain part of the mechanism by which life survives. That's something we mentioned. So when we hatched the eggs, we got the hatching enzymes one. The specimen's eggs are attached to some form of incubator. In a normal life cycle, the sea emperors would have buried their eggs in shallower waters, where different organic materials in the soil would have triggered the hatching response. The incubator suggests the aliens had resorted to developing artificial hatching enzymes, which would simulate the egg's natural hatching environment, but were unable to discover the formula. So the Sea Emperor didn't give them the formula, because I think it said it didn't give them the formula because the aliens refused to let its children leave. And so because they weren't activating the portal, they wanted to keep the kids there. The Sea Emperor was like, no, if my kids can't leave, you can't have our vaccine, basically. With extensive information on the sea emperors themselves, it may be possible to fabricate an artificial hatching enzyme using indigenous ingredients. However, the only surviving source of that information may be the sea emperor itself. And it turned out it was like samples or seeds from 5 different plants from all around the entire ocean where we were. People sent in the conveyance facility saw the same thing. The waters draw pipes in. They have no signs of distress. They've consumed high quantities of seeds and organic matter from the surface. Begin to show signs of infection. Ray species. Different species of ray indigenous to 4546b. Each adapt to different environments. These specimens are 99.99% genetically identical to those encountered on the planet today, suggesting that rays in particular have undergone little evolutionary mutation. Because rays are perfect. They don't need it. They don't need mutation. Here we are. Ghost rays. Ghost rays are ones I wanted. Jelly rays are the ones I got. Crimson rays and rabbit rays. So these 3 are the ones I wanted in my tank. These 3 different types. The alpha ray would have evolved deep in the ocean trenches, quickly growing in line with available food supplies. It would have most resembled the ghost ray in size and appearance, the translucent skin for camouflage, and forward-mounted eyes for hunting. So this must have been when I scanned one of these specimens, and it turned out it was from like an older, like a precursor version of the ray. While some rays have stayed within the limits of cave systems where they first evolved, others relatively more recent adaptations to new environments. So do the creatures on this planet evolve faster than the ones on Earth? Because how recently is it supposed to have evolved to go further up? Is it just that because the environment shifted so much they had to adapt faster? Is that the explanation that's given? Maybe it says it somewhere in here. All rays have given up predation in favour of herbivorous scavenging and use poisonous flesh to protect themselves. So you can't eat the rays. So sea dragon egg. This large egg is held in a hermetically sealed environment and has been chemically sterilised. I don't like the fact that you can't get little mini versions of the sea dragon and the Leviathans. I think that would be a nice little end thing where you can get baby ones and put them in your tank. And then when you release them, they're nice to you, so you can have them swim around and they're friendly. Without the means at the facility to house a fully grown specimen, it's possible the alien sought instead the egg-laying process. Sea Emperor egg casing. So the shell is formed of thick layers of carbon composite, suggesting an extensive gestation period. So they stay in the eggs for a long, long time. The Leviathan species may give birth just once per century, perhaps just once in their lifetimes. Shell casing incisions. Precise incisions suggest a laser-based tool was used to cut open the egg casing and forcibly remove the fetus. Time pressure to develop a bacterial vaccine may have driven the alien researchers to cut this egg open. So there was an extra egg, and I found this in that there was a lab above where the portal room is, like all the portals are. There's a place above that has one of these eggs in, and there's also a specimen that they cut open. That there was like one of the dead sea emperor babies that they cut open to try and examine how they could have hatched it. It's possible that removed from its parent and natural habitat, some vital condition for the infant to hatch was not met. The sea emperor. So yeah, this is the one they cut out of the egg. Preserved in the case, it was likely a child of the adult specimen. Superficial damage indicates it was artificially removed from its casing. Stunted tissue development suggests it was expired during the removal process. Tissue samples have been taken from the digestive tract. It appears the aliens are trying to formulate a cure for the bacterium from enzymes produced in its digestive tract. Without a young, healthy specimen, these efforts were in vain. So they forced it out of its egg before it was ready, and it died, and they couldn't use it for what they needed it for. Specimen with symptoms of infection. This organism is displaying signs of a bacterial infection. Bright green blisters are forming networks around the infection site. Pathology suggests a waterborne bacterium capable of penetrating the body through the skin and respiratory system, underlying indications of genetic mutation and aggressive behaviour. The bacterium itself is unlike any so far recorded in human exploration. Maybe contagious, avoid. Do not under any circumstances consume the flesh. So by this point, we've already eaten it. We've already come into contact with it. I don't know where was it the first thing we scanned? Maybe it was the first time we scanned a creature. Maybe that was when it came up. So the Sea Emperor's eggs. So these are the 5 eggs that we eventually hatched. Once again, they're saying that the eggs are very strong. Alien devices penetrate the outer shell layer, likely designed to supply them with nutrients and to isolate them from surrounding environment. I mean, stabbing something through the eggs isn't going to help them, really. Sort of messing with them, aren't you? Like many eggs, these do not contain nutrient supplies, which are slowly exhausted by the embryo. Instead, they exist in a form of natural stasis. So effectively, they could stay alive forever. Like they're in a form of stasis, and then the moment that they're triggered, they can start hatching. There's a high genetic match between these organisms and Leviathan. They appear to be stable and healthy. is likely that ideal hatching conditions for the eggs vary considerably from ideal survival conditions for the parent. Okay, and then the Sea Emperor's life cycle. Oof, that's a big read. Available data that's been used to synthesize the creature likely lived and moved in small herds around the planet's ocean trenches, coming to the surface to feed off the huge volumes of microorganisms in the shallower waters. So whale habits, essentially. Family size would be strictly limited by available food supply. Offspring would likely split off at a young age to form their own herds elsewhere. Given their sparse population, mating and egg-laying was likely infrequent, perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime event. The species likely had a preferred environment for egg-laying. In fact, successful hatching may depend on such conditions. Given the rarity of this event, it is impossible to calculate those conditions precisely. There's no evidence to support the assumption that all members of the species were immune from the alien bacterium. Even if this is so, there is evidence that the introduction of the bacterium decimated life on the planet, and this would have had catastrophic effects on the Emperor's food supply and survival rate. The symbiotic relationship between the specimen and other lifeforms likely developed as a direct result of bacterial infection. Those lifeforms, which learned to keep the Emperor alive, survive with its help. This may explain the vast tracts of lifeless ocean in a rough perimeter around the Emperor's location.
Seek fluid intake.
Thank you. I can just get my coffees, can't I? Has it been explained yet where the bacterium came from? I'm not sure whether... I mean, maybe I'll see it as I'm looking through, but the original origin of this bacterium... Because I thought that the way it worked was that the Sea Emperor Leviathans created an enzyme which neutralized some kind of bacterium. Like, it provided, like, an equilibrium to the ocean. And when all of them died out and they couldn't breed anymore, then this bacterium that used to be neutralized was able to essentially take root. But it seems like that's not the case. It seems like this bacterium was introduced in the environment, and the aliens who lived there noticed that this Emperor Leviathan was immune to it, so they kidnapped it to keep it safe and study it. And then they wanted it to give them information to hatch its eggs. Something like that. Anyway, we have now read through the entire advanced theories section. Oh, yes. So, before we move on, we have another mission to go on. The next alien cache. So, that's the one I just went to. I'm surprised I never found this, seeing as I have a base right next to it. I guess I wasn't thinking to look. It's not like the easiest place to find, is it? Okay, so we've got one over there that's A50, and then the other one is 2000. So let's go to that one now. If I'm not wrong, the aliens brought it to the planet, but I may be wrong. Yeah, I guess. The aliens are they're definitely not from here. Those other aliens came to this planet, and they got infected.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
This is why I should have been reading them as I went along. I wouldn't have as many questions. It would have answered them all for me. It's fine. I've learnt my lesson. It is also quite interesting discovering a lot of it just through, like, gameplay and times and stuff. What I probably should have done is had a session earlier where I read through everything rather than, like, my last session of the game. But it's fine. It hasn't, like, damaged the experience. You don't need to read the lore to get the most out of the game. It's just, as somebody who's thoroughly enjoyed the game, I want to get everything possible I can out of it. Which is why I'm doing the last of the things that I haven't done. And why I'm reading through these things now to make sure that I have a full understanding of everything. So there was definitely a Leviathan close to one of these places. And I don't know where it is, but one of these places, I don't think it's the dunes, it might have been the other one. One of them is just full of Leviathans. I think I swam down manually. Maybe it was this one. Something else is coming for me. Go away. No, let's just go down. If it gets me, it gets me. Be a nice little aggressive end to this session. Well, it won't be the end of the session. I mean, nice aggressive end to my final gameplay thing. End. You know what I mean. That sounds like a Leviathan. It's fine. I can get inside this place here. June Sanctuary. Yeah, man. Here we go. So, we have the next one. Oh, I need the tablet. Yep. Alright. Let's see what you have to offer. Oh, it just appears to be another one of these. Maybe they're all like this. I'll be a little disappointed if all of them are just rooms with a few cubes and a bit of info. I was hoping, because one of the other ones of these I found was the one that had all of the specimens like cut up on the tables and stuff, and another one of the cuddlefish eggs. So I was hoping these would have a bit more in them. As places that you can you don't need to go to, I was hoping they'd have something interesting that would make it worthwhile looking for them. The alien biological
Integrating new PDA data.
I guess that'll be inside one of these, so I will get to that eventually. Right, I'm full on everything. This doesn't use any power or anything, so I'll be fine reading some stuff in here. So, blueprints. So this is the next category. I don't know whether it's worth me going through all of the blueprints. I don't know whether any of this equipment would be interesting to read about. We know what it all does. I can go through my usage of them, because I barely use these air pumps. I used them for one situation, and that was when I first went into the jelly shroom caves, and that was because my ship didn't go deep enough at the time, I think. So I wanted... Was it the ship? I think I might not even have the ship at that point, the Seagull. I don't know if I even had it. Once I got the Seagull, I think I was using that as a portable air source. I didn't need the air pumps anymore. So these things, they were useful early on, but then after that, I think the problem with these air pumps, they have a lot of setup for very little use. Because when you can refill your oxygen inside your sea glide, and you get that very early on, for the air pump to be useful, you have to build the air pump, and then build all the pipes going down from it to provide the air lower and lower. So having the vehicle is just more convenient in every single way, because you can take it with you. It doesn't require all of that setup. So I understand the use of them, but I think the use is extremely limited. I mean, they could, maybe it was like an early game thing. Maybe you were supposed to build them super early on and use them to explore deeper without them to surface as much. But I was happy servicing. So yeah, decoy, scanner, light stick. These were way too expensive for what they are. So they required a battery, and the battery is, what was it, 2 copper and I think a wrap. Okay, not as expensive as I thought they were, but I remember when I put them up, I didn't like the fact that they're not very bright from far away. These things should be extremely bright. Not that they illuminate the area, but I mean visibly. They should be very bright so that you can see them from really far away, because then you could use them as markers to direct routes. So if when you made one, you actually got a stack of like 5 or 10, like the is it there? The thing where you like leave a path for yourself. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe it's called a Pathfinder. If it was like that, where you've got multiple ones, you could line them up. Then yeah, they also, I guess, they would be very useful for just decorating if you wanted to make a more complicated build. This is my enemy. This thing that knocked all of my items out of my ship. No, bad propulsion cannon. The radiation suit, useful very early on. The reinforced dive suit. This is the one I think I'm currently wearing, right? Why take chances when you can take Altera? You disclaim it, you're not invulnerable. But rated for temperatures up to 70 degrees. 70 degrees that's what the temperature is in the caves, because that's what it says on your thermal things. So, yeah. Good piece of equipment. Once I realised that I could repair the reactor core, I no longer need to use the radiation suit. This suit was... The suit obviously just used all the way through. The water filtration suit... So, I never made this. This suit, as you're wearing it, it recycles the water that your body's using, and every like, it's sort of like every 20-30 minutes or whatever, you get a bottle of water. And I can see it being useful, but by the point that I unlocked it, I already had, it says there 2 bottles per day, I already had different ways to get water. So all it does is, like, if you have this on, and then you have the stabby electric knife, you can essentially just stay filled up on things forever, because you'll just keep processing water and to keep being able to drink water. And then you'll also, no less than 4 bodily. Upgrade to Mark II to make the most of tears. That feels like a joke. I don't think there would be a Mark II. Because drinking reclaimed urine is better than death by dehydration. It's a good tagline. Yeah, so you basically, you'd have unlimited food and drink, but by the point this was unlocked, yeah, like I said, you didn't need it. It feels like this should be more of an early unlock thing, so that you have to choose between the various options, because the reinforced dive suit just makes sense later on, because you can't go deeper without it, really, because you can't breathe properly and you can't survive the heat, so you just have to wear that. Stasis rifle, slow down time. Slow time? I just thought that's ridiculous. It freezes time? The trigger may be held down to increase the area of effect and duration. Can it? Oh! What? What? I wish I'd known this earlier. That'd have been so useful when I was fighting, like, the Leviathans and stuff. Well, I mean, this is obviously this is going to be very useful later on, because I'm gonna go and hunt a ghost. This thing, it lasts for ages. It's still there. I think it's shrinking, isn't it? There we go. Well, I mean, great. That's what you get for not reading stuff, Brad. NB may not function correctly on larger life forms. Life's fast. Why not put it on pause? See, this is why you read stuff, because you learn things about stuff, and then you know stuff better. Alright, what else have I not looked at? So these are the various habitats and things. The bulkhead door, I think I used once or twice. I understand its point. A lot of these things are very much like a use case if you wanted to just build. I understand that. If you want to spend your time specifically just building things, then, yeah. Exterior grow bed, is this the one that goes... Oh, so you can use this on land or underwater. I could see this being quite interesting if you wanted to make like an outdoor garden of things. So instead of planting the stuff in the aquariums like I was doing, the alien containment units, you can plant them outside. That would be cool. That's how you actually make stuff. Floodlights, habitat builder, interior grow bed. Oh, I did use these. These are what I used to grow my my melons. What were they called? The melons. This is useful. It does, like, the fact that it makes loads and loads of salt is a little bit irritating, but I understand why. I wish there was a way to set it so that it would dispose of the salt, or you could put like a container and it would auto. I don't know. I'm just thinking about Minecraft now, being able to automate redstone machines. The nuclear reactor I did not have a chance to properly have a go with. I've unlocked it, I think. So the nuclear reactor, from what I remember, from like having read, I mean it's written here, powered by 4 replaceable uranium reactor rods. So uranium was one of the like ingredients, the things I didn't really use for many things. But yeah, you can make reactor rods with it, and I guess you have to wear radiation suits when you pick them up. And then you put them in, and they last for ages. You don't need to replace them that often, but they create nuclear waste, and then you have to dispose of that in a nuclear waste bin. So this is the end game fuel resource. The end game. I mean, there should really be. I feel like the game is missing a ion reactor, where you can make a reactor that uses ion cubes, and it basically lasts forever. Because I feel like that would be the next step up when you've discovered the ion stuff, would be to do that. Vehicles. I do like the Cyclops. but it doesn't fulfill the role that I thought it would fulfill. The Cyclops is a mobile base. It's not really for exploration. You're meant to load it up with things, you're meant to take it to places, and then you're meant to leave it, which is why it comes with a compartment to hold other vehicles. I didn't think about this at the start. I assumed it was smaller. I didn't know it was as big as it is. It is literally just a mobile base. And so if you had the materials, instead of building outposts everywhere, you could build Cyclopses everywhere. And then if you finish an area, you could then move it and use it. That's how you make stuff. My rocket. Ah, my cool rocket. Onboard AI will not launch if local threats are detected. So you have to disable the laser before it'll let you take off, essentially. Seamoth, Sea Glide, Vehicle Upgrade Console. Oh, that's fine. Well, I mean, that's a quick look through the blueprints. I've talked about some of the stuff that I didn't use and some of the stuff that I think I could have used better on, used differently. We have one more alien cache to visit. And judging by the fact that the two that we just went to are identical, I feel like the next one might also be identical, but we're still going to go to it. So the Sparse Reef one is the one we've already been to. Dunes is the one we're at. Wait, no. Blood Kelp's the one we've been to. Which means that's the one we need to go to. The Sparse Reef one. I do have some notes written down for things that I want to say of like good and bad stuff about the game. Believe me, there's not really anything on the bad list. It's more just stuff I would like to have seen. A few things of like I would have liked it if this thing was in the game. But that's more just me being like, I love this game loads, I wish it had more stuff in it. And I do understand that there are loads of mods for this game. And so if I wanted to play it more in the future, I have the option of adding stuff to it. Which is great. I love it when games do that, because the creators of the game finish the game, and then the people who love it can put their time into adding more things to it. And it means that the creators of the game don't need to invest any more time for their game to stay alive. I think it's such a nice community of people to be able to mod games. I think any games that don't let you do it when there's definitely a market for it is a bit daft. One of the games that I think absolutely should be moddable is Phasmophobia. But the reason why I think Phasmophobia will benefit from it so much is that one of the draws of horror games is the unexpected. So being able to have essentially an unlimited supply of extra things in the game from people who are modding it would then keep the game permanently fresh. And it would mean that you could have people make their own maps and make their own ghost types and make their own ghost reactions. I respect the creators' decision to not do it. I just think it would definitely be a good one for that game. So maybe when they've finished updating it, and they've reached the point where they're no longer going to be providing... Why is this floating? Oh, because the legs haven't rendered in. When they finally reach the point where they no longer want to update it, maybe they'll be like, we're now going to open it up for modders.
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
I mean, people have probably also modded it already anyway. I won't be surprised. People can do anything these days. Alright, let's continue on our way to the final cache. Is it cache or cache? Is it either? Which one should I say? As a as a British man, what should I be saying? It's cash like money. That's what I've always said. I've said both interchangeably, but I don't know which one it's supposed to be. I might just keep doing it differently every single time I say it. There might be somebody out there who gets annoyed by it, and if that's true, that's really funny. It is a superbly well-designed game. So, a lot of these places are next to other places you might discover. So you can use a scanner to find the wreck, and then whilst doing that, you might be like, oh, I'm going to explore this nearby cave. Like this cave here. You'll be like, oh, I'm going to explore this. Wonder what's down this cave. And then as you're flying in, I hope I'm in the right cave. Now, this one is a little deep in, which means hopefully it's got some cool extra new stuff in it. Have I gone the wrong way? feels like I'm going into the Lost River. Why would I not place my beacon in a more obvious place? I've obviously been here before, because I've put a beacon in here. You'd think I'd have placed it at the entrance of the tunnel, rather than what looks like next to it on the way in. So, if I drop down here, there it is. Right, that took a while, but we are there. Okay. It's looking like just another one of these exact same ones. But I wanted to find them, I found them. This one has 6 of them in. May as well grab them while I'm here. Like, I don't need them, but it makes it feel more worth it. I'm going to steal all of their stuff. I do wonder what the lore reason is for them creating outposts that have platforms that rise out of the ground and present you with one rock. Why? I guess, is it like backups for them to use if they need to use them? Alien Sanctuary.
Integrating new PDA data.
Oh, you know what I miss? New blueprint acquired. It's been so long since I've acquired anything. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is kill the Ghost Reaper. Before we do that, we need to read a bit more of our files. So let me find a place to be safe. Where's the one I need to go to? Wait, hang on, there's a fossil cave entrance right next to me. Perfect, I'm already here. I wish this grappler worked in a better way. I wish I could use it to Spider-Man. What it seems to do is it connects and then draws you in. Which means that you don't get the momentum you would get if you allowed yourself to swing properly. I wish I could properly Spider-Man with it. I think that would be cool. Fossil cave entrance this way. Alright. So the Ghost Reaper that I want to get rid of, that I want to slay, my nemesis, is the one that hovers around Jupiter here. And the reason why is because its original hunting ground, I am sinking. Its original hunting ground, its patrol route, was above this skull here. It was sort of swam around this area. When I drove my Cyclops through, the Leviathan followed the Cyclops. And it ended up being pulled away from its original route. There it is. There it is. Oh, go away! It ended up getting pulled away from its original location. And it's got stuck above this. And because it was stuck above this, it caused me loads of problems when I was trying to move through this area. Because this here is like a choke in the Lost River. And so it's still sort of close by. Oh, crap. I need to power the base and hope it doesn't get me.
Emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
It's the problem with using bioreactors, that they're not always powered.
Power restored. All
Welcome
primary
aboard,
systems
Captain.
online.
Right, get inside.
Welcome aboard.
So yeah, I moved it out of its normal patrol route here by accident, and then it caused loads of problems, including destroying, I think, one of my sea moths and one of my prawns. This thing has been a menace to me. And so, because I didn't want to leave this game without having beaten a single Leviathan, I wanted to get this one. This is my, like I said, this is my white whale. And I know somebody is going to be like, but you don't need to kill it. You don't need to kill it. But first of all, it's a game. It's a game. It's not real. But second of all, it's par for the course. You want to conquer the planet. You got to defeat one of them. And to make it fair, I'm not going to be fighting it with like torpedoes or a gun. Well, I might use the stasis rifle. I'm going to be fighting it with a knife, because that's what real heroes do. heroes going after innocent creatures. That, I mean, it's caused me harm. It tried to kill me. If it tries to kill me, I kill it. It's the rule. There you are. Look at you. Yeah, bastard. What? Please tell me I can get out of here. This would be really awkward. I probably could have deconstructed it to get out, but that's fine. Enjoy your last few minutes on this planet. Right. Data downloads. So there's a fair few in this that I haven't gone through. Let's take a look. Oh, loads. Alien building blocks. This rock-like object features organic as well as mechanical parts, and there are some genetic and technological crossover with the design of the self-warping constructs encountered elsewhere. So it's reminiscent of the builds of the warpers. It appears to serve no purpose in its current state, and is awaiting some kind of activation sequence. Materials such as this may have been fundamental building blocks. It's looking at me! Of the alien technology, or even the aliens themselves. Interesting. I wonder if they have answers for a lot of these, or whether they just pose these to give us like stuff to think about when we're playing. Alien carving. So a lot of this stuff I think was scanned when I first went into the prison area. There were loads of like boxes that had things like you could scan like all of these artifacts that they'd kept inside cases. I think that's what a lot of these are. This carving is hundreds of thousands of years old and made from an unrecognised natural fibre grown on an unknown planet. It bears striking resemblance to the old Earth yin-yang symbol. Yes, it does. Two competing theories. Aliens visited Earth prior to the 4th century BC and influenced the development of ancient Chinese philosophy. The concept of yin-yang is universal, since yin-yang describes the fundamental interdependency of seemingly opposite forces. It may be a necessary existential understanding, in some form, in all sufficiently developed civilizations. The tempering of two circles into opposing infinitesimally small points is one logical way to represent this understanding and may have been developed independently by species older than humans. That's fair. So either they are aware of... like, I mean, also, did they have to influence us, or could we not have influenced them? Could they not have seen the symbol in our mythology and gone, oh, that's cool, we'll use that? The alien rifle. I did read this one. Resemblance to human weaponry, designed with a humanoid user. So they're saying, were the aliens humanoid, or did they just build something humanoid? There's no obvious way to remove the rifle from the case. Can't I scan it and synthesize it, though? I'd like an alien rifle. Alien statue. Unpowered, suggesting it served ceremonial rather than practical purposes. Or it was just something that didn't require power. Like, we've got electrical devices, and not all of the stuff that's in our houses, like a chair isn't electrical. So, assuming that this is some kind of ceremonial thing, rather than it just being something that they used, the pyramid resembles vines spiraling upwards towards the warm blue stone mounted above it. It may represent a plant found in the aliens' homeworld, the building of religious import, or even the gravitational pull of their home solar system. Or it could have just been something that they had in like indoors that looked cool. I mean, maybe it was... I don't know, maybe it was their chairs. Maybe the aliens had, like, weird sphincters that they used to sit on things. You don't know. We didn't know what the aliens look like. The ancient earth blade dating back to the 13th century. Blood samples match separate heads of state. 7 heads of state. Supports the theory that the aliens are an ancient space-borne civilization. Blood samples on the blade match the DNA of 7 separate heads of state. So this blade was used to kill 7 heads of state in the 13th century. Oh, praise the sacred butt holster. You're a scientist, stop nitpicking, Brad. I'm not nitpicking, I am providing my insight. Doomsday device. Indicate this device contains enough potential energy to destroy the entire planet. Fortunately, it has malfunctioned. A little device that can destroy the entire solar system. And it's just in a box. You'd think the aliens would be like, maybe we should do something about that. A holographic projector. This device contains a network apparatus and holographic projection unit. It's likely used as a communications relay, capturing and projecting the image of the user to a remote location. There do not appear to be any other device in range. This is like one of those things that they have in Star Wars that has the little people stood in it, isn't it? Advanced nanobots. Oh, this was the one that looked empty. Obviously, like, we've purified this planet. Altera is absolutely going to come back here and nick all this stuff. There's no way they wouldn't take the opportunity to investigate this heavily advanced technology. An organic matter particulator. It contains an unstable radioactive isotope, likely to destroy all organisms exposed to it while leaving physical structures intact. I remember reading this one. It was like they said, or maybe they used it for sterilization. So you put it inside a room and explode it, and it removes all of the bacteria and leaves the room ready for habitation. Which is like, it's a cool implementation for something that sounds horrific. One of the older versions of the tablets. Yeah. A tracking implant. Emits a high bandwidth signal consistent with the alien transmissions. DNA suggests it was once implanted inside one of the life forms indigenous to the planet, suggesting the subject was Leviathan class. So that they put this inside a Leviathan and used it to track its location. Beyond tracking and broadcasting, it was also recorded biological data. That's cool. I mean, we do that. We put tags on various fish and things and monitor them, see what their movements are, see how they're doing. This device stores linguistic data from over 1,000 different languages. The core of the device may allow alien text to be read and translated. So it's the TARDIS's translation circuit, isn't it? Analysis of the onboard data reveals a number of ancient Earth languages, and the term CHBC Live appears many times in the device's data. I'm guessing this is an Easter egg to something. Its import is unclear. The device seems to be configured to translate into the designer's language. It will not work the other way around. Ah, that sucks. But if you know the alien language, then you can know every other language. Scan data. So it looks like I've read a lot of these already. So the Alien Arch is the teleportation device. Now we know that now because we've used it. Flora research. I liked reading about the alien stuff. The alien stuff was cool. Immobilize and return to Altera for mutual profit. Wait, do I have to break one of these and steal it? Thermal plant, the alien vents. So yeah, we know what the alien vents are for now. These are for... They're bringing water, like good water, oxygenated water, into the tank, the aquarium, where the Emperor Leviathan was, and then pumping out the shit water. But the Leviathan started to use that to get its enzyme out. An access point to the alien piping system transporting water to and from the facility. So this is how the water was getting in and out of the big aquarium. Blue tablet, the energy core. This device houses energy equivalent to a 100 megaton nuclear detonation. This was the energy core that we found in the... it was where we got the ion battery stuff, I think. Lost control. Ion cube. This green mineral substance has no entry on the periodic table and an unprecedented ability to store huge amounts of ionic energy. Likely grown artificially, so they're not real. The aliens made them. The cubic appearance suggests it is being cut from a larger deposit. Each cube contains the equivalent ionic energy of 5 kilotons of TNT. Under the right conditions, the energy could be released in a controlled manner. Likely used as batteries, but would require a substantial power source to be recharged. I mean, I've recharged them. I don't remember them taking much more than other batteries. The ion cube fabricator. Device appears with the origin of the raw mineral that forms the base of the ion cubes, which power the smaller alien systems. Likely drawing power itself from the main thermal plant, this device may represent an almost limitless source of energy. See, this is the thing. Like, we need to take an ion cube back with us to Earth. Because obviously if we can figure out how to synthesize these ourselves, this is going to massively advance human progression, basically. Yeah, so everything else we appear to have read. Alien biological history. So this is some of the stuff that we found today, I think. This terminal contains data mapping the complete biological history of a member of the alien species. The dataset is hugely complex, but some basic facts can be constructed. It was grown from seed 1,708 Earth years ago. Wait, so the aliens are grown from seeds? Weird. Separated from broodlings early for special training. Inducted into Temple of Research as the youngest ever initiate, age 96. So they had a longer lifespan than humans. Downloaded a corrupted dataset and was stored for 3 years for refactoring. Relocated to the Outer Galaxy Cluster to support disease research endeavours. Relocated to 4546B for high priority disease research contracted the Cara bacterium, which is the name of the bacterium that we've now been working to eradicate. Stored in Sanctuary 3, corporeal body, safely disposed. Download a corrupt dataset. Wait. Are these beings able to upload and download their own data, like their own minds, into and out of things? Maybe it's like a tree network or like a fungal network. Like in Avatar, when they're like, oh, the planet contains more synapses than the human brain, so the planet's basically a brain. Maybe these beings are sort of that kind of creature, where they're able to like connect themselves to whatever technology they have and upload and download their own stuff. Also, this was the information about the actual computers. It's likely the alien species which designed this technology evolved or genetically selected sensory apparatus to hear and understand the information being broadcast by the device, and to communicate back. The mental processing power required to perform this kind of telepathy would imply the designers were considerably more psychologically developed than the common human. Yeah. Alien Sanctuary Alpha. So this is the most recent one we found. Architectural information has been downloading regarding this antechamber. The structures marked to the ceiling of the cavern cast a low green light over the data hubs below, but they are also regulating the pH level of surrounding water and emitting a low frequency sound wave. Probably would have been good to have read this when I was in there. It's possible the intent was to ensure ideal conditions for a practical end, but their purpose may also have been ceremonial, or even recreational in nature. Okay. Aesthetics. Ornate in design, the cubes mounted on the pedals are not being drained of power, suggesting they served more symbolic purposes. So I was asking why they had them in there. I guess they're saying they were there symbolically. Similarities to old Earth religious iconography may be coincidental, but they may also indicate some shared and ancient cultural history. I think they're jumping to a lot of conclusions with that. Like, there's a data terminal and then a bunch of cubes around it, and they're like, ceremonial. Yeah, it's all I don't know if this is an archaeological thing. I can't remember if I heard this from someone. It may have been... Oh, there's a YouTuber I watch who's an anthropologist. What's he called? I don't remember his name. Brad, when you're editing this, put his name on. I'm watching some of his stuff, and I remember him saying... I think he was saying that often, if they can't come up with a reason for something to exist, they attribute it to being ceremonial. It's like a sort of an in-joke amongst archaeologists and anthropologists of saying, this thing's ceremonial, because we don't know what it does. And I think, because he was talking about a book that he had when he was a kid, and the book was meant to be a bunch of archaeologists from far in the future were excavating an old motel, and they were going through what everything was used for, and there's a picture of somebody wearing a toilet seat around their head, and it talks about how it's a ceremonial headdress, because the people who dug it up couldn't figure out what the toilet seat was used for, because it was meant to be so far past toilets that they were like, well, we don't know what this is, so it must have been ceremonial. I do remember that being something he talked about, so I think I am right when I'm saying about it being this sort of in-joke where everything gets assigned ceremonial status. Alien Sanctuary Beta. This antechamber consists of a series of data hubs, each adorned with an ion cube. These are networked onto a main terminal in parallel, presumably to ensure data integrity over time. So, why are these ones there to ensure data integrity, but the other ones are ceremonial? I know it's saying these ones are connected together and the other ones weren't, but why would they have two different things that have basically the same purpose, like the same appearance, but have different purposes? They just like making different rooms full of cubes that do different things. Unprecedented data complexity. Stored data was scanned into the system at a local terminal. Original data source was organic in nature. Maybe that thing we read about of this biological history of a particular alien, maybe that's the one that was put into this machine and that's why its data is organic. Evidence suggests that this antechamber served as the sanctuary of last resort for the aliens that built it. In the event of catastrophe, they could retreat here and somehow transfer themselves to the data hubs for preservation. It's unclear whether other members of the alien species ever returned here, or how many souls are backed up on the hubs. The data stored is far too complex to reconstitute the little information available. It's interesting that all of these aliens could theoretically still be on this planet, and they're just waiting for somebody to come along and cure them. Is there any evidence of what they look like? I want to know what they look like. All we know is that they're grown from seeds. You'd think that you'd find, like, a corpse or a body. Maybe we have, and maybe we just didn't recognise it because it's not... It doesn't look like human. It's not humanoid. So some of the plants on this planet could be like the corpses of these things. Maybe. These are the damage reports and things for the... Okay, so it looks like I've read most of these. There are also maybe some of these that I didn't read and that I clicked on and then didn't look at. So I apologise if I've not read them. Here we go. I was asking about this earlier. So the contagion profile. Discovery, first encounter during routine network expansion on outer worlds. The pandemic development, network error, resulted in routine quarantine procedure failure. Contagion was uploaded to and spread quickly through the core worlds. So the virus was able to get into the organic network system that these aliens had. Confirmed deaths, 143 billion! Billion! Bacterial mechanisms, attaches to healthy living cells and mutates the basic genetic structure. It's weird how it can also travel through whatever their organic technology is. That's terrible. So these are the different stages. I think we reached stage 2 and then probably moved into stage 3. We obviously didn't have that. Emergency steps taken. Core worlds quarantine. Bacterial samples distributed to isolated disease research facilities for vaccine development. So this disease must still be raging. And obviously now that we've discovered this cure, we're essentially we haven't just saved this planet, we've saved this entire aliens species. Because they've lost 143 billion people, but obviously they've completely quarantined these planets and stopped anyone from going there. So the fact that we've now discovered this vaccine, our guy's a fucking hero. What absolute legend.
Seek fluid intake.
And it's a legend that's about to die of thirst.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Yeah, eat all the lantern fruit. Make yourself ill. That's the one question I've got left. What do the aliens look like? Do we know? Have they specifically not shown us? Because it's not important to know. We just know what they were like, but we don't want to be given too much information. Anyway, it is time to take on the beast. All we need on us... There. Stasis rifle. Knife. Look at my shadow. Look how threatening I look. Oh no! Oh, the old... Look at it! I know what. No one's ever really going to see that. I'm not going to judge the game too much for that, but that is really funny. Look how threatening I look. I wish that I'd activated that bug that I had last time where I didn't need to eat or drink or worry about breathing. Because it would have made everything so much easier. But I guess that's just basically me saying, I wish I could cheat. Right. The moment has come. Brad, I'm going to defeat a Leviathan. So, I figure the best way to do this, whilst keeping my nads intact, is to stasis rifle it and then hack it to death. However, I may also be able to lure it down here because it does get stuck here. And I may be able to hack it to death, but I don't know how close I can get. Look at it. It has no idea what's coming for it. Yeah. Alright, let's get another breath.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And also let's save the game because this might go incredibly badly. Right. I'm coming for you. Yeah! I don't know how much it'll take. I don't know how much health these have. Or how much damage I do. Die, foul beast! Die! It's a lot less climactic than I was expecting. Wait, are you running away? Oi! Get back here! I'm not finished with you! I thought you were an apex predator. It's gone into the wall. Where's it going to come? It can come from anywhere. It's going to come from me. I don't know where it's coming from. There it is. Bring it. Bring it! I was expecting this to be a lot cooler. This was more epic in my head. Come on. No! There you are, you're free! Get back here! Oi! Oi! I am your enemy! Ah! Does it keep its health, or does it recover because it went so far away? I mean, you're not supposed to kill these things, and I guess it's very evident in the fact that it just won't die. Are you just going to swim into the wall again? Ooh! Ah, it's drawn first blood. Well, no, it's drawn first blood from me. I drew first blood. Ah! Why won't you die? In my head, I'm doing like epic grappling with it. We're like rolling around. You know that fight between Gandalf and the Balrog? It's that. Is this wounds? Is this damage? Like this red? Did it always have this, or is it meant to be showing how hurt it is? Why are you swimming away? I mean, I do have a device that literally freezes you in place. It's not like it's a fair fight. You know, I'll look away for a bit. Oh, nobody's here. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Come on. Bring it. Bring it. I don't know what I was expecting. This game came out a decade ago, so why has it gone back to its original hunting grounds now as well? Yeah, I am your enemy. Yeah, this game came out like very long ago, so I'm not expecting the AI to be incredibly amazing. I think this must be damage, like the red on it must be the damage it's taken, so you can visibly see how hurt it is. Because I don't remember it having those lines on previously. I mean, this sort of shows you that you're not supposed to fight them. Like, a big part of this game is that you're not supposed to be killing the things. You're meant to, like, survive around them. I think it would be cool if it got more aggressive. The more... Oh, I did it! He has been defeated. I thought it would feel more satisfying, to be honest. I just kind of feel sad. It's just... because it's just sinking depressingly into the ground. Has it stopped? No, it's still sinking. Every night in my dreams, I see... Oh, I thought it was going to keep sinking. Is that it? Is it done sinking? Kicking it while it's down. The fact that you don't even get an achievement for it. They don't want you to be proud of it. See, I kind of want to load the game and bring it back now, but now I've committed. I have to live with this. I've got to live with this decision. You know what? It destroyed a bunch of my ships, It destroyed my ships. It tried to eat me several times. I think it may have killed me. Did it kill me once? I don't know. But it destroyed a bunch of my stuff. And it annoyed me, and it hovered around here, and it did damage to my ship. You know what? Fuck you. Enjoy your grave. Enjoy your watery tomb. Join the rest of the fossils. Yeah, I am the alpha. I am the alpha predator. I am the apex predator. Ah, ah, rah, rah. I am the alpha. He has 8,000 health, and every time you hit it, you do 40 damage. Okay, so 10 is 400. 100 is 4,000. So it takes 200 hits. Wow. It feels weirdly quiet. I'm an animal lover in real life. I like animals. I feel a bit mean. It's a fake animal. Why do I feel mean? It's a fake animal and it ruined my life. And there's loads more of them. I was proving a point. Well, time to get on with the adventure. What's next? Reading more stuff. And cuddlefish eggs. He feels bad now. I do feel bad. It was unnecessary. I did it because I wanted to do it. Because obviously you can't really leave the game without having beaten one of the big monsters. But I think it's the fact that the fight was so lackluster because it was mostly just about freezing it in place and whacking it repeatedly. And then when it dies, it just sort of flips upside down and sadly sinks to the bottom. I think the fight with a sea dragon would have been more interesting. Because you can actually fight the sea dragon without the stasis rifle. Because it's so clunkier when it moves that you can sort of dodge out of the way of it. So as you're dueling it, if you move out of the way of its mouth, you can then attack it. And so I think that probably would have been a better target for me to have a go at. Because obviously it would have been, I guess, more of a challenge and it might have felt more worthy, like worthwhile. I hope the rocket blows up and he never leaves the planet. Its ancestors will come after me if I get stuck here. No, it's descendants, not its ancestors. I always get those mixed up. It does feel weirdly quiet, doesn't it? I don't know if it's just because I was in like an intense moment and then it ended very quickly, abruptly. It just feels eerily quiet. Maybe it's all of the creatures of the ocean stayed away from me. Because I'm a big boss. Yeah. Yeah, be afraid. Be afraid. I've not killed one of them yet either, have I? No, Brad, you don't need to kill them. You proved a point. You kill one of the big creatures. You can say you've done it. It'll no longer cause you any problems at that base. You don't need to kill anything else. Yeah, one thing I haven't really made in this is the torpedoes. Or like done anything with the torpedoes. I just never really saw the need. Because, like I said when I was murdering that creature, the game isn't about killing the creatures. You're not supposed to. That's why none of the animals drop loot when you kill them. Because there's meant to be no advantage to doing it. The only ones that you kill are the smaller ones that you can use for food. But then it does feel like they should let you get food out of the big ones. Because the message isn't don't kill anything. It's just kill the little ones. Right. There you are. My first big base. Let's go and visit it.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Well, back in my original big base. It's nice to be back. Submark. Right, what am I doing here? I am going to be reading some lore, and then I'm going to be doing something else. Is there anything in here? Ah! So, I was prepping some things that I'm going to put in my time capsule. One of them is a cuddlefish egg, and one of them is this Aurora poster here. Because you can only get one poster and one ship, but I managed to get 2 of each. Because I got them from my time capsules. Somebody gave me their ships and their posters. But I don't need the poster because I've taken a picture of it when it loads. There we go. I've taken a picture of my poster so I can put that anywhere. And there's my other ship. So I thought, you know what, I'll give the poster away. The next thing I'm going to be doing is releasing all of my fish. And that includes some of the cuddlefish. But I'll be doing those cuddlefish at the end. I'm going to be releasing all the other fish that I've got because I don't want to keep my fish in captivity. I know it sounds very hypocritical to murder something and then be like, but I like my fish. But these are my fish. I hatched them. I have an emotional connection to them. I hated the other one. Why do I feel bad? Why do I feel... You said beforehand. I don't know why I feel... I think, like I said, it's because it was so... its death was so anticlimactic. It just flopped over and gave up. The thing is, its body disappeared, so I'm going to pretend it didn't die. I'm going to pretend it was just like, shit. I need to show that this person is superior, and it rolled over and it presented me its belly. Okay, so let's give the next section of this a read. So the next one... Oh, wait, did I not read... Oh, I did. I missed loads of stuff in this one. Ugh, Aurora Survivors. Which one did I not look at? Surveillance log, leisure deck B. Okay.
Suspicious keyword, religious. Detected. Beginning automated recording.
I find a tendency amongst Alterans to think not only that you have it best, but that yours is the only way to have it at all. In the Mongolian states, we have the freedom to work for ourselves. Hey, most of us are contractors. Joe owns her own company. Whose ship are you living on right now? Yours or Altera's? You do well to remember whose ship you're on, Mongolian. According to my religious beliefs, this ship belongs to us all. We're all part of the same system. The only difference between us is where we choose to draw lines. Wise words for someone from a cowboy corporation fighting over rocks in the far reaches of space.
Guess that's a bit of background onto... Was Khazar the rich guy who was on the ship? I think somebody, the Mongolian guy, I think, was sent to look into the disappearance of the previous crew, I think. All of these, it looks like we'd looked at when they came up. Because I was interested to hear about the past of the life crews. Codes and clues. I've read a lot more than I thought. There's just a lot of them that I didn't even bother looking at. The Altera Search and Rescue Mission. So this was telling me about the reason why we were coming here in the first place. The Degasi, which are obviously... I don't know if that's proud to pronounce, it's just how I've said it. They're the ones that we found the basis of. They disappeared, carrying a high-ranking Mongolian chief. Corporate Insurance has purchased passage to... the emissary, because that's the person we just heard talking. We have to locate the crew members. I mean, we found out they're all dead. They did all die. And this explained how we ended up in this situation. So Bart Torgal, that was one of the people I think that survived that we heard talking. Lost in space. Age, time of disappearance 19. That might have been the kid, the one that survived and it got back up to the surface and then died on the surface. The only legitimate child of Paul. Paul is the other one. Beneficiary of enhanced learning techniques and cerebral implants. Digi-trained in advanced biochemistry. Emissary Khazar reports Bart was accompanying his father to a newly constructed deep space station. And then this was the knobhead. This guy was a douche. He was the captain. 79. Made majority shareholder by his mother upon her retirement. So, nepotism, baby. Beneficiary of life extension technologies. His only child was 19. Often travelled with a skeleton crew, was known for making rash but profitable decisions. So yeah, he's a bellend, basically. It's all about the money. And we did go through the logs and things like that as we were talking, apart from this one, apparently.
These conniving corporate bourgeois, inbred, incompetent, self-absorbed jerks don't have a damn clue. The kid's not so bad. He's even useful. But I swear, everything that comes out of his father's idiot face is a narcissistic lie. He wants to stay in this cave? His problem. I'm the one doing the heavy lifting. When sea monsters are hunting you, you don't hide. You hunt the sea monsters. Then you build a bigger boat out of sea monster bones and you hunt bigger monsters. Keep going until there aren't any monsters left to hunt you. I'm going deeper. I'm gonna find what shot us down and I'm gonna tear its damn heart out. I started the prep work. The kids taught me how to make enameled glass. I've started stockpiling metal ores to build myself a sea moth. I'll raid the indoor grow beds before I leave.
Well, first of all, the Seamoth can't go anywhere below the depth of 700 meters, even with various upgrades, so you're never going to be able to get all the way to the depths. She is a little bit too aggressively wanting to murder things. Her mindset, that's what I was like before I killed that creature. Public documents. Torgal Corp. So this is that guy's company. Long-standing family-run clan that operates almost a dozen mining and trading operations. Company share price hit an all-time high in the announcement by a Mongolian cabal of their intention to construct a new phase gate utilising Torgal materials. These plans were put on hold when Bart Torgal, the intended leader, disappeared. I am interested in the lore. This just feels like I don't really care about this. I've been live now for 2.5 hours, so maybe that's the reason why I'm sort of wearing out a little bit, and I've been at work today, I'm going to work tomorrow, so it's fine. I'm not going to bother with a lot of this. Like, this stuff is, obviously there's more like background lore if you want to learn all about this, but I'm interested in the planet and the aliens and the history of that kind of thing. I don't really care that much about the technology and the human aspect of it. Like, I care about the encompassing stuff, like the broad stuff, like the companies, the people, why they're there, that kind of thing. Well, this sounds like it could be interesting. I'm going to read this. What can we learn from the hive mind of Strata 6? How are the individuals which make up a hive mind to be categorized? Are they merely dumb components of the larger intelligent organism, or is the larger mind merely a product of the independent organisms? Can it be both? We define organisms. So I feel like sometimes I read things well and sometimes I can't read things at all. We define organisms by their traits, but find invariably that these traits depend on those of their environment. The concept of a tadpole is meaningless without the concept of the frog it will develop into. Well, yeah, but if it didn't develop into a frog, then the concept of a tadpole wouldn't be meaningless, because that would be the tadpole would be the thing. But I get what you're saying. The idea of a predator is empty without an understanding of its prey. Okay. This begs the question, if we define everything by reference to everything else, what have we actually explained? I mean, this is the idea of, like, how do you describe left and right without showing people left and right? There's no way to explain to people what left and right are without explaining what left and right are. An illustrative experiment was recently performed on the hive mind colony discovered on Strata 6. A device was placed outside the nest which would electrocute individuals approaching it. An ant colony would have lost many individuals before a basic danger signal was successfully communicated between them, resulting in a learned avoidance of the device. Successful, but costly. The Strata 6 colony quickly formed into two factions. One attempted to move the device by brute force, sacrificing individuals as they did so. The second attempted to cover the device in sand. These two goals being mutually exclusive, a fight ensued. The first faction was beaten in virtue of their reduced numbers. The device was safely buried, and the survivors called a truce. From the perspective of the individuals, this experience must have been horrific. From the perspective of the hive mind, a nagging problem had been overcome with the most effective solution. Which perspective is the correct one? We suggest that it's neither. By attempting to fit such entities into our rigid set of concepts, we're painting onto the world a false impression of concreteness and meaning, which is a reflection of our concepts of ourselves. We describe Strata 6 individuals as attacking one another, just as we describe microbes in the human body, yet the Strata colony, like the body, cannot be healthy as a whole without the aggressions of its components. We describe neurons in the brain as being dumb, but our brains as a whole are as intelligent. When an idea takes hold in the brain and forces out inferior ones, do we describe this act as aggression? Do we mourn dead neurons? See, I understand what it's getting at, but I feel like that's not how a hive mind would respond to that situation. Obviously, I'm transposing my idea of a hive mind onto this hive mind that they're talking about, but the idea of a hive mind is that all of the minds are interconnected, and there's two ways I think it can work. Either there is an individual being that controls the hive, that has control over the entire hive, like Unity in Rick and Morty, or the creatures share like a consciousness amongst themselves, even though they are individuals. So like it's posing a question of how to describe a hive mind, but there's two different types of hive mind, and the one here is obviously that the individuals share a thought, are able to share thoughts. But if that's true, then they wouldn't have fought. They would have decided amongst the hive mind of the best decision and acted on it. It's a bit weird that the hive mind, the individual aspects of the hive mind fought each other. Because then it's not really... We're not talking about a mind of people who are all connected, because they wouldn't need the aggression. When a philosophy or a technology takes hold in human society, when wars are fought over them and people die, is that rightly seen as being good or evil? This is not to undermine the meaning of our existence. From where we stand, our existence is very serious indeed. But is our civilization and our universe really any different from the colony on Strata 6? Is intelligence something limited to things of flesh and blood? Or is the universe truly one giant intelligent system, and we but amoeba blowing self-important potholes in its surface? Oh, we would do well as scientists to remember that our goal is not to paint the world as we see it, but to see it how it truly is. It's ants are a hive mind. They work together and know one ant is worth more than the colony. If an ant gets left behind, it gets left behind. I guess it depends on the definition of a hive mind. I'm imagining the hive mind being like, as I was saying, the example that's in Rick and Morty of Unity, being this one being that is controlling an entire set of people. But what it's describing here isn't a shared consciousness. It's just a bunch of things that work together to achieve a goal. I'm thinking in sci-fi terms. Yeah, I think I am. I can agree with that. It's interesting. I like that it's making me think. It's like, what game was it? Was it the Turing test that I really enjoyed? Because it made me think. Okay, so this is just the description of things that are on the planet. And again, like, these aren't going to be too interesting to look at. This is how you get uranium, right? Yeah, so it's a naturally occurring uranium oxide. Shale, sandstone, ruby, nickel, magnetite, limestone. What's kyanite? A blue silicate which forms in a high temperature. Essential for advanced fabrication. I was hoping it'd tell me more than that. Just a material. How do I get this to disappear? Or do you have to stay on it long enough for it to vanish? Alright. Before we get onto Indigenous Lifeforms, let's release my creatures into the wild, as I will no longer be here to look after them. I mean, they take up a lot of your inventory by the looks of it. Oh, they do. Stealthy predator, raising containment. I love the idea that you can also just throw them into the bioreactor. Like, it seems so harsh to grow these creatures and then just chuck them into a reactor. Alright, I did release one. One of my own fish somewhere around here as well. I'm going to release them over here. You get to play in this area. This area is cool.
Seek fluid intake.
There you go. Yes, be free. Be free. I imagine they don't attack me, the ones that I've raised. I would hope they don't. Right, so I am going to leave the cuddlefish in here for now. I'm going to come back for them later. Mesmer. Be free. Be free. Explore the wilderness. Yes, Mesmer. Good Mesmer. Good Mesmer. Yeah, and then I need to go to my other tank and release all of those. I'll be back for you later, don't worry. One thing I really enjoy about this game is how good a job it's done at sort of teaching things. I think it's very interesting looking at like my old footage and watching me as I like gradually discover stuff. And now the game is just like all of this stuff of just like casually traveling around, teleporting. When I was doing my last of my building, I was gathering resources and stuff. It was just so easy because I'd learned from the game how to do all those things. It posed like no issue at all. I mean, that's obviously going to come with any game. The more you play it, the more you get used to it. But I think this game's done a very good job of teaching people how to play. And making it feel satisfying as well. I feel very satisfied now knowing how to do everything. I'm still getting comments on some of my videos going up from people offering like advice on certain things. I've replied to one of them today just saying, I appreciate the offer, but first of all, when I play a game like this, I like to discover these things myself. That's part of the enjoyment of it. I like to make the mistakes and learn from those mistakes and get to a point where I feel really satisfied with the amount of progress I've made. But also, the person who's sending me this message obviously doesn't know that the bit they're watching was weeks ago, months ago, and I've already played past that point. So any advice they have is going to be moot anyway. Can I release anything anywhere?
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Because I'm not going to be able to fit all of these rays into my inventory at once. But if I release them out here... In fact, I'm not going to release them out here. They'll get eaten by the sea dragon, won't they? That thing swims around, eats things. Let's see how many of these I've got. How much space do they take up? A lot. How many can I get in here? 4. Cool. So I get for having all jelly rays. Taking up all my space. Oh, I think I might just have enough space to carry all of these. So I can put one more into the Cyclops. A Cyclops? What's this called? Prawn suit. Wonder if they die if you leave them out of the water for too long. How long could you carry them round before they died? Here we go. Okay. So let's release the rays here. Oh. That was a bit shocking. Be free. Go and experience the world. Okay. As you may have gathered, the last thing that needs to be done, apart from the cuttlefish, and the time capsule, is to turn off the laser. Here we are at the... It's called the enforcement platform, I think, this place. Here we are, ready to disable the laser so we can finally leave the planet. Big things, big stuff's happening. I think it's up here. I think. Hopefully I'm not just running around aimlessly going to the wrong place. So it could be that I have to go upstairs in like the elevator-y thing, but I thought it was like in here and... There it is. Here we are. Big moment. It's all come down to this. This is so ominous. I mean, I'm not sure what I was expecting. Oh, there's the Doomsday device. Neat. Glad that turning off the power to this place didn't stop the stasis around that and cause it to drop and blow up. Wonder if anything's happened on the outside. Oh, the portal. I don't want to go to there. I want to go outside. I want to see if it's, like, flopped down or anything. I'm going to get greeted by the rays on my way out. There they are. That's cool. Look at them swimming around. Haha, you're not a threat anymore. Let's take a look. I want to see what it looks like from the outside. Oh, it has literally flopped down. I mean, I guess if you're outside, you can somehow watch that, but I don't know how you would watch it. So maybe there isn't an animation for it. Maybe it literally just swaps to this state. I mean, this doesn't. This feels threatening, doesn't it? Well, the planet is safe to leave. Let's have a nice little last look inside my Cyclops. Just, I'm reminiscing about my times. It's like this is the part. This is the part where, like, in the film or whatever, it's playing that like sad music in the background. It's like, I remember the times I spent with you, all the good times we spent together. And it's like fading between all the things that happened. I remember going deep into the planet. I remember living through the stormy weather. Now's my time to go. Let's eat some fruit. I'll always remember the way you swam around for me, Cyclops ship. Hey, buddy. I remember. I'm gonna stop. We did it. We did it, weird creature. We did it. Everyone is safe. I say we, I did it. I mean, you sort of helped. You gave me the instructions. But we did it. Pat on head. You can rest now. Wish I could swim inside your mouth. Bet I'm tasty. I should have released all my creatures in here. They could have kept you company. Right. Let's go and dock this prawn suit into this base. The base that he's been running out of. And say goodbye to this base as well, because we're not going to be coming back here. Mercury, which ended up being my primary base.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
This base was built with all of the knowledge of the game that I have. So, I built it right next to where all the portals are for easy access to the rest of the map. And it's built with this storage area here, which has all of the stuff that I need built onto a wall. It took a while as well to get 10 of these onto a single wall, because it's very difficult. They always get stuck. And I've got lots of pitches around. You know, I'll eat a potato. Enjoy my potato. Feeling very, very nostalgic, very sad. You know what? I'm going to take the Keep Calm poster and I'm going to put this in the Cyclops, in the time capsule. Because you only get one of them, but that poster has kept me sane while I've been here. I'm going to give it to somebody else. There's also that toy. And I'll give people tools. I'll give somebody a useful tool. Goodbye, base. Goodbye, Ming plant. Where are you? Where are you, big dragon creature? Where are you? How do you say bye? Where are you? How the fuck are you? I can't even hear you. It's done a runner. I think the only place where it can be out of range is over here. I think maybe on the sides as well. I don't really want to go too far. Yeah, you do to Leviathan, so you legged it. Maybe. I am the apex predator. I am the alpha species. It's fine, we had plenty of fun times with the sea dragon. And this is where the montage comes on of me and the sea dragon. Where it's like, oh, you and I, we had such good times together. The thing is, right, if I had enough time, if I hadn't got loads of other things that I need to do with my life, I would absolutely make these montages and put them into this video as I'm talking. And I would make up the songs and I would sing them and I would do like the fades of the things happening. I'd absolutely love to do that. It would be really funny. But unfortunately, that kind of thing takes a lot of time. And I do not have that time. I've got other things that need to be done. So it's a shame, but it's fine. It feels like I'm coming to the end. Because I'm like making such a big deal about all of these final steps I want to do, it feels like I'm getting myself some nice fitting closure for the game. And once I've left, I won't need to come back. I know there's some people who obviously will stay in these games for a long time and make like more bases.
Power only. Oxygen production offline.
I can get into this without it doing. I know there's some people who would do that, but I think for me, I've gotten everything out of this that I would want to get out of it. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I would like to have seen more of, and the reason why I think there's a lot of limitations with the base building. Even though the base building has... It's so expansive and you can make so many things, there's some specific limitations that I don't like. And I imagine that's the kind of thing that is probably fixed with mods, and may even be fixed in the sequel. So I think I've heard a rumour that there's going to be a Subnautica 2, because they've done Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Subnautica 2 has been announced. That they're making that. Which is cool. I think it's very fitting that we end our adventure here. In my base where it all began. I do really like this base. It's not particularly complex. It's very simplistic. But I sort of like the way I've done it. Like the 3 moon pools I probably didn't need. Because there's not really been many opportunities to have multiple vehicles here. 2 of them would have done it, because I'd have 1 prawn and 1 Seamoth. The reason I built 3 is because I thought that the Cyclops could be docked in a moon pool, because I didn't realise how massive it was. But obviously not. But I like the way that it looks with these 3 moon pools. I think it makes it look very interesting, like very unique. And then obviously you've got the scanner room in between, and then the 2 long rooms. This one being the one with the storage in the office. And then this one being, as you can see, food area, research area. So there's my other cuddlefish swimming around here. I once had to reload because I accidentally crashed my ship into it and killed it. And I was like, I'm not having that. So I relogged. Right. So, you 2 will be released soon. However, we have one more category here to look through. Indigenous Lifeforms. Right, let's have a quick look through some of this stuff. Brain coral. So apparently, you can pick this up with the propulsion cannon, like when you're able to use it to pull stuff in. You can probably pick it up and carry it around with you and use it to give yourself basically infinite air, which is very cool. Pyrocoral. This coral species is not like any other encountered insofar that it relies on magma flow rather than water to deliver its nutrients. That's a cool feature. As lava rises up from the planet's core and erupts at vents, this coral forms around the base until eventually it's surrounded the entire vent. The lava is then funneled up through the coral, allowing it to siphon minerals and heat as it goes. That's really cool. That's a cool concept for a plant. Table coral is just your average one that we use. Exploitable in computer chip fabrication. Fauna. Carnivores. I've looked at none of these. See, these are the ones I should really have been reading as I was going along, so I had a better idea of what I was going up against. Generates a powerful electrical current to incapacitate its prey. Avoid or incapacitate. The bone sharks. These ones, they felt like they should have posed more of a threat than they did. They just sort of swam around and were a little bit annoying. Large eyeballs. Consistent with high light sensitivity, likely for hunting of luminescent prey in low light environments. Cool. Slow and unresponsive as a means of energy conservation. They will act with uncompromising speed and aggression. Avoid may be distracted by light sources. Interesting. See, this kind of stuff would have been useful. So I guess if you put down a lantern or something, or like a floodlight, those things will get distracted by them. Crab snake. These are the things that were coming in and out of the mushrooms in the what's it called? Glow shroom cave. So yeah, so they live inside the jelly shrooms. They're very territorial, patrolling the cave systems where there is assessment. Avoid. I mean, these are the carnivores. Almost all of them need to be avoided. The crab squid. The EMP blast was something that took me by surprise, when they could just disable your stuff. Likely developed as a response to predation by creatures with electrical hunting mechanisms. Interesting. Creatures caught in its grasp are expertly butchered and quickly consumed. I wonder if there's a kill animation for all of these carnivores. Because obviously you can get grabbed by the Reapers and by the by all of the Leviathans, and there's like an animation for that. I wonder if there's one for all of the others. Large brains and resemblance to the intelligent squids of Earth. The organs inside the creature's head are in fact its stomach. Oh. Assessment neutralizes electrical equipment. Lights attract its unwanted attention. So again, like you can put a light down and distract it. Crabfish. Or crashfish. These are the ones that zoom at you and explode. Concentrations of sulfur build up in it over time. If it collides with something at sufficient speed, the spikes in its torso are impacted, triggering an explosive chemical reaction. Equip stasis rifle, repulsion cannon, or similar before approaching shallow caves. I mean, the stasis rifle you get fairly late on, don't you? I think you get it from the Degassi places. I guess it's not that late on. The lava lizard. Oh, these things are so annoying. They just turn up and attack you every time you're in the lava caves. Annoying. They've got a thick layer of scar tissue, likely due to exposure to magma. Defend itself by burying its body in magma, and then spitting molten rock. That's kind of cool. Avoid, especially in the presence of lava flows. This mesmer, I didn't encounter many of them, but these ones are so interesting. So, they open themselves up and they hypnotize you. Tiny lenses can be tilted independently to create mesmerizing patterns which flood your brain with enticing messages, interpreted in whatever form is most convincing by the target. The mesmer can open the jaw-like recess in its protective outshells in order to error. Share its beauty, do not resist. Assessment, draw closer. There's a lot of like little tidbits of comedy in this. A lot of them came from the voice that's giving you advice. I like that that's like just sort of thrown in there. The river prowler. These are the things in the Lost River. Aggressively keep its jaws facing an opponent, but smaller, faster lifeforms have the advantage. I didn't really have too much of an issue with those. Same again with the sand sharks. Like they popped up a lot, but they weren't massively difficult to deal with. Ill-designed for ambulation. Likely used to disturb the surface of the sand so they can burrow. Avoid. Be vigilant for ambush in sandy biomes. See, a lot of stalkers were encountered because they had to crack their teeth off. Appears to be attached to titanium deposits, which tend to sharpen and put stress on its teeth. You may be able to temporarily distract them by feeding them. Yeah, so these are the ones where you have to drop the metal near them and they drop the stalker teeth. And stalker teeth, you need a lot of enameled glass in a lot of builds. So stalker teeth ends up being one of the most awkward resources to get. And then the warper. Yeah, so we find out the warpers are artificial creatures. We read all of the deceased ones, because these were all very interesting to see. Sea dragon skeleton. Herbivores. See the crimson ray. Look how cool the rays are. We're a tank just full of rays. The cuddlefish. Capable of understanding and following simple commands, in addition to assessing the emotional state of individuals around it. I kind of wish that the cuddlefish had more use than just swimming around and being fun. Like, it seems like if they say, oh, they can follow simple commands, it'll be cool to be able to command it to, like, pick up stuff. And then as you're swimming around, maybe it, like, grabs things and brings it back to you. Kind of like the allays in Minecraft. The ghost ray. Poisonous flesh. Assessment. Inedible. Same with the jelly ray. Smaller creatures have been seen swimming in the jelly ray's wake to take advantage of the light source of their own ends. And the ray itself will approach light sources. Light sources were so useful for doing things. Not that I would have found much use for them, but knowing that I could have done that is interesting. The eye. These things are so dumb. And there's like various versions of them in different places as well. Like the Oculus is a deeper version of the Peeper. Yeah, the classic Peeper. Edible high calorie count. The Peepers are very useful. These things have these are my main food source really early on. Because they recovered like 32 when they were cooked properly. The Reginald. I love the designs of these fish though. Some of them are really interesting. A lot of them have massive eyes. Edible. Spinefish. Yes, these are mostly the ones that we were eating. Edible. Don't remember eating those. Leviathans, here we go. Creature is approaching the size limit for sustainable organic life forms. Adults have been encountered exclusively around the edge of the volcanic crater. Yeah, so when you go off the edge of the map and go too deep, these things... So I read about the behaviour of them, and apparently, as you start going deeper, it'll spawn in one. And if you continue to go deeper and it doesn't kill you, it then spawns in 2 more. And the maximum it can spawn in is 3. And you can, in theory, get to the bottom of the crater, but if you do, the game will just teleport you back up to the surface. But the idea of these is meant to be there to stop you from going too deep, because they will aggressively attack you. Probably migratory behaviour. The specimen was likely born far from the area where it was encountered. Extreme threat. Avoid the crater edge. And then I read about the juvenile at the time, because the juveniles are... I mean, it's a bit weird that the picture's the same. It's fine. The Reaper Leviathan. So I scanned this one. When I was on last, I scanned it so I could look at it, so I could read it. Vast organisms at the top of their food chains. So this is meant to be the first Leviathan that you find. It locks its prey in its four powerful mandibles. Simulated pressure exceeds sea moth crush resistance. Yes, it does. I experienced this firsthand. The deep roar at regular intervals is sonar. If you can hear it, the Reaper can see you. That would have been useful to know. The scanned one was 55 meters. It circles its prey and attacks from behind. It's all muscle, but very little brain. No sense of morality. Motivational note. Congratulations on getting close enough to scan it and live to see the results. Thanks. These things... I love these. These are one of my favourite creatures in the game. I just love massive things that are just there. An evolutionary path quite different from other organisms. Its lifespan likely extends through many centuries. They travel in small pods and communicate with an echoing call. Assessment: harbours plants, small fish, and metal-rich barnacles. And the sea dragon I remember reading at the time. The sea emperor juvenile. Oh, look at it. It hatches relatively fully formed and independent, perhaps reflecting the fact they must fend for themselves when they're first born. The specimen is healthy, exhibiting signs of a positive attitude to life. Oh, that's nice. These things weren't very common, but they're like giant walking creatures. Sea treader herds may unearth mineral deposits they churn up the sand. That could also have been useful. Look around their feet and you might get cool stuff. Man, I really read none of this stuff. I'm going to scan through them quickly because I've been streaming now for a while. It's getting a little late for me, so I'm gonna work towards my end. So let's just have a quick look through. So we've got bleeders, the blood crawlers. These things are annoying. Cave crawlers, the floater. Yeah, may aid in flotation of sunken objects. Oh, weird. Oh, they were the things under the islands, weren't they? The lava. These things are the things that were attached to you and absorb, they drained your power. Rock grub. These must have been the tiny things. Because I don't remember seeing those. Harmless. Shuttlebug. Presence may indicate nearby cave systems. See, these are the things that are useful to have known. I should really just scan through and looked at them. Because then I'd know that if you saw one of these, there's probably a cave nearby. Flora. Exploitable. See, I scanned everything. I just didn't do much with it. Bloodvine, bulbo tree. Didn't know these were edible. High water content. See, that would have been useful to have known. I think I've got one. Got one here, haven't I? Yeah. So, do you eat the seeds? Oh yeah. H2O 10. Cool. Bloodvine. Creepvine. Marble melon. High water content. Yeah, the marble melons are great for like restocking stuff. Because you have to replant them though. I much prefer the lantern tree. It's so good. Edible in an emergency? What are you talking about? It grows loads of them. It constantly regenerates them without you having to put any effort in. And it recovers like 10 at a time. So you can just refill on it every time. Minimal nutrition and hydration value. Isn't it 10 food? 10 food, 3 water. And then I guess if we look at a melon, 12 food and 14 water. So it's not that much better. Like, water-wise, I guess it is, but that seriously underestimates the power of the lantern tree. The lantern trees are amazing. Alright, and then stuff in the sea. Let's just scan through them. I'm sorry, these things are taking a long time to go through. I am interested, and it would be interesting, but I think I've missed the point where it would have been good to have read them. So I've learned my lesson. In future, in any games where they have this kind of thing, I should read them as I go along. I think when I play games offline, like when I play games just to myself, I do read everything. I do it all the time. Because when I was playing Death Stranding, I read everything, every email, every single thing we got. Sea crown. Large black-like sac and bacterial species of a breakdown complex. Shares large sections of genetic code with a membrane tree. Scans indicate this plant is rare to the point of extinction. There we go. I've looked at everything. Like I was saying, if I usually do read through stuff. I think I just made a bit of a silly decision when I was playing through that people wouldn't care. But like I said, I've learnt my lesson. When I play the next one, I will be reading everything. Right. Okay, so Cuddlefish, it is time to meet your friend outside. I'm going to release them all together so they can play together. Because I'm not going to be here to play with it anymore. Where are you? That's the Mesmer. Where's the Cuddlefish? Cuddlefish. Where are you? Where is it? It was here before. I specifically looked at it. Hope none of the other ones I released ate it. I don't think they would. I guess I'll just release the other two and assume it's nearby. It was swimming around the top of here. I saw it earlier. I guess it could have moved a bit further away. Okay, well, you two can swim around here. Where are you going? So you can play with them. But also, now that we've deactivated the laser, it gives you another option to say farewell. Oh no! Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. Oi, get back here. No. Maybe it just swam underneath and got stuck. You know what they're like. It could be somewhere around here. I don't think they would put in something that would allow it to get eaten by another fish. I just don't think they would. So it's probably just around here somewhere. I'm going to hope. I'm going to just imagine that it's around here somewhere. It's hiding because it's scared of its new friends. But then they'll become friends soon. This is it. Everything's done. I should probably release these fish as well. There you go. Be free. So, I've been told you can send 6 things in the time capsule. So, I'll send these 2. These 3. Which means I won't be able to send something like the stasis rifle, which would definitely have been useful. But I can send the repair tool, because you're not allowed to send ion batteries, but you can send things with ion batteries in them. That's a thing. I think the habitat builder with a battery in it is probably going to be one of the more useful things. Because the habitat builder that you can build endlessly. Let's have a look and see if there's anything else worthwhile. It's a shame that this takes up 4. 1 lantern fruit would be super useful for people to plant, but they're not too hard to get. I think I can make this work with what I've got. I think that's good. Let's just tie up this end. Bye, base.
Welcome aboard all systems online.
We've had a good time, haven't we? Let's clear up. Do you mind? Goodbye, base. Watch it disappear into the darkness. Alright. Let's do this. Thanks, Seamoth. You've served me well. Right. That's weird. So it's come to this. Auxiliary power unit. Hydraulic systems. Communications array.
Auxiliary power unit online. Pressurizing hydraulics. Communications systems array active.
Activate life support system. That would be quite useful.
Life support systems online.
Look. Cool. Prepare my time capsule. Boot up the primary CPU. Let's do this now. Awesome. So we get to put stuff into this. So we'll give him a cuddlefish egg, that poster, this. I'm going to put the habitat builder in. We've got space for 2 more items. Let's go with the thermal blade. Be able to cook your food. Like if they find this early on, the thermal blade is very useful. And let's go with the repair tool. Unlimited repair tool is good. I think that's good. That's a good selection of things. Although, unlimited scanner tool might be more useful, because you use the scanner more. Yeah. Okay, of all the images that I could put in, what do we think? What do we reckon? Obviously, it's something that's got my mark. So I've obviously got some very nice pictures of things I've taken like artistically. Like, you know, some of the ones of the planets and stuff. But I think that you want to leave one that's got your mark on it. One that where it's like, this is something I did in this world. So it's either going to be this one in this interior here, maybe the one of my Cyclops in front of the tree, my original base seen from above, or maybe even my first base ever, the little tiny one. What do we think? I'm leaning towards this interior picture that I took earlier. I think seeing the interior of my base, because I actually put a lot of time into the decoration of this one. I'm going to go with my interior. Here we go. So I've got my little table in the middle, my Aurora, this. Sort of gives an example of a place that I existed, which I think is nice. And I get to leave a message. I like that. Build a home, uncover secrets, protect yourself, make a friend. Remember where you came from. Most importantly, keep calm. Who gets the time capsule? So, from what I read, what happens is the time capsule gets submitted into like a big group of all of the different people who've done one, and the community decides which ones basically get to move on and become active within the game. And the idea is that if this one gets chosen, a random person playing this game at some point will accidentally stumble across the time capsule that I've given them, and they'll get the items that I've put in, and they'll see my message and my picture. See, I can do this, and then if somebody finds my time capsule, they might message me. Ready. Okay, what do? Do I just back out?
Time capsule ready.
Yeah. Cool. Boot up the primary CPU.
Primary computer systems active. All systems are go for liftoff.
It's a nice day for takeoff. I actually don't know what happens. I assume we get off the planet and that's the end of the game. Let's find out together, shall we?
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Wait, there were
5,
birds on this planet?
3, 2, 1. Time capsule jettisoned. Caution, approaching orbital debris field. Orbital debris field clear. Performing
could have gone
gravity
better.
turn maneuver. Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.
Yes. And it's done. Are you going to play the credits? There we go. Credits. Excellent. Ah. What a ride. I cannot believe it's taken me this long to play through this. And the music's banging. I have very little to say about this that's negative. because it was generally just a good experience. Any of the problems I have are either little teething issues and things that just don't really matter, or it's based on the fact that it's an old game. I don't have anything awful to say. Like, I would say, visually, fantastic. Love the aesthetic. That's I love games that take place in oceans and stuff, and I like the fact that it was very colourful. It's like the way that Sea of Thieves is really colourful in some places, but I like that they made it super colourful. I said it before, but in terms of the gameplay progression, the way you start off with nothing, but the game is very good at holding your hand and moving you slowly through all of the different things you need. Like, all of the locations you need to go to are near like pods and things that you are directed to. Any of the things you need to collect are usually in places that are easy to find or can be found. Those caches that I found at the end, the three, the Markiplier and Jacksepsky I mentioned in so I'm just reading this now. Yeah, with Unity, cool.
Welcome home to all terror. Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.
What exactly? Permission to land. You're not allowed to land until you settle your trillion credit debt. Well, I guess we never made it back. Such a nice menu as well. Don't really say much about it, but it's such a simple, but it's such a nice menu. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. Yes, so I like the way that the game led you through the various different, like the progression, the way that it didn't hold your hand, like I said earlier, it held your hand, but I never felt like I was massively stuck. And even when I did, even when there were moments where I was struggling, I eventually figured out the solution just based on game logic. And when a game does that, it's been very well made. I think when I played Half-Life 2, I said the same thing. Of like, you can tell when a game is well structured. You always know where to go, you always know what to do. And this game was one of those ones where they've clearly put a lot of thought into the progression through the story. I like also they clearly put loads of effort into the lore. Like, this session, depending on whether or not you skipped through or whether or not you watched it, I went through a load of the different stuff and I couldn't even get through it all. There's too much. Obviously, if you read it as you gain it, like as you get it, like I should have done, then you would have been able to keep up with it. But there's somebody's put all this time and effort in to make sure that every single thing you can scan, everything on the planet, has like an interesting story behind it in a way that it works, and that's like you can tell that a lot of passion and love went into creating the game. It just feels like, because I think when it released initially, it was a lot more bare bones, and they added in a lot more stuff as it went on. And I know that there used to be a terraforming mechanic, because in Markiplier's playthrough, I haven't watched the whole thing, but during his playthrough you could dig out the earth. And I imagine that was removed for hardware or for running the game reasons, that you can no longer do that. But it's interesting that was something that existed, because think of the bases you could build with that. So you could dig like massive holes underground and build your bases inside them. That's really cool. I don't think the game really missed out from not having that, though. I have no real issues with the crafting. Crafting was fine. Nothing felt too difficult to get. I was complaining about the difficulty of stalker teeth in the late game, but I actually just dropped a load of metal next to one and collected loads really easily, so that wasn't that much of a problem. There could be some more resources that were maybe a bit harder to get overall. I didn't feel like I struggled too much with finding... There was nothing that was like exceptionally rare. It was in abundance in certain areas. I don't know whether I would have liked that more or less if it was harder to do. I think I'm trying to think of things to critique. Because usually I like to end these games by saying what I liked and what I didn't like. And everything about this, for the most part, I really enjoyed. I did make some notes of some stuff that I would like them to have put in. And these things may exist in mods. They may be in the in Below Zero. But I wrote down, I would like there to be more POIs to discover that aren't related to the plot. So today we went around those caches and had a look, and they were extremely bare bones. They weren't particularly filled with stuff, but it would have been nice if there were places to reward anybody willing to explore beyond the areas they are meant to go to. So non-story based things that are just fun little areas to explore. So maybe another Degassi base, or like the ruins of their ship that was somewhere out the side, and you can get like a little bit of extra lore, or find more like a unique item, like the Markiplier thing was inside a random life pod. But that life pod I think was one we had to go to anyway. So it'd be nice if there were some things like that. Like maybe a life pod that you never are told to go to, that's somewhere like on the far reaches of an area that you don't normally go to, that would have had something worthwhile there for you to go and look for it. There weren't many places like that. Everywhere that, like I said, like, it was a good thing that everywhere that you had to go to, you were basically instructed to go to in some form. But I think it would have been nice if there were more places that you didn't have to do that. They're not essential to complete the game, but they're nice. It's nice to have them there, because it gives the people who are spending that much time in the game more things to go out and look for and explore and find. I wrote down that I thought there should have been more uses for the chip slots. So you have, obviously you've got your face slot, you've got the body slot, and you've got the hand slot, and the foot slot, I think, didn't you? But I thought it would have been cool if there were more options for chips, because there were only 2 of them in the game, and you can fit both of them in your suit. One of them displays things from the scanner on the hood. I think one of them gave you the compass at the top of the screen. And as far as I'm aware, there aren't any others. And it would have been nice to have had more of those, so you actually had to choose which of those you wanted to use in your like day-to-day exploration. And the one that I wrote down is that there could have been a HUD chip which shows you the health and the status of like bases and vehicles. So where it's like on your beacons where it shows the vehicle, you could have had an optional HUD that you could put in, an optional chip you could have put in instead, that would have displayed the health and power of ships, and then the power of bases and the status of bases from a distance. So you could use that if you were doing like a lot of exploration, you wanted to have a quick look back and make sure that one of your like things wasn't being attacked. Because I think I had a ship that was getting like attacked by some sharks or something because I put it in a rough spot, and it would have been nice to have known that, so I could have rescued it. But that's just like, these are just suggestions of things that could have been implemented. They're not like they need to be in. I just found it interesting that there were 2 chip slots and only 2 chips. And it would have been like the same way that you have an option for suits. There's multiple different dive suits that do different things. Then there's the fins, like there's the ones that charge you, the ones that go faster. I think having more options for chips would have been cool. It would have been cool to have unlocked alien builds in the late game. So we got a little bit of alien tech and we got to use the ion batteries, but the alien construction, like the way that their builds work with the green walls and all that kind of stuff, it would have been cool if you could unlock those components and you could have used those inside your bases to make like alien rooms. Because the assets are obviously in the game, they just need to be repurposed in a way that the player could use them, so I think that would have been kind of cool. But the main issue I have, that the only real big gripe I have, and this is obviously something that's probably fixed by mods, is that there's not that many decorative objects. So when you have a base builder, the thing that you like to do is to decorate the interior and to make the interior your own. And this game was very much lacking in those kind of things. Like, so the examples of things they had the little ship, they had the plush, they had a few posters, there was the Markiplier that you could build, and they had a lot of those like test tubes and the equipment and stuff that they didn't serve a purpose except to use them decoratively. And that's fine. Like, they were good, it was nice to have those, and I used those in my build. But I would have quite liked more things to put on shelves, for example, because there's shelving units, but very little goes on the shelves. The only things you can really put on the shelves, I think, the Markiplier would fit on, and maybe some of the vials and test tubes and stuff, but the shelves are quite narrow, so you couldn't put the ship on them without the ship looking awkward. It would have been nice if there were more options for, like, maybe a small plant pot that you could do, and you could put like a seed in it, it would create a tiny version of a plant. Or more like, I guess, things that can go on walls, like you had the big planter that covered up a big section, but like having a little planter that's like a small plant pot. I think there was a wall planter, but it was quite big. It was sizable. I also got that quite late as well. I would have liked more interior decorating options, even exterior stuff to put on your base, like lights that you can attach to the outside of the base, like almost like ring lights or circles or stuff that you could dot along it to give your base a distinct color on the outside. Be able to paint the base would have been cool as well, because you could paint your ships, so you could have made your base a certain color as well, maybe to fit in with the environment, so it's like a covert base. But that's my main issue, and that's one of my only issues, because other than that, I had absolutely no issues with anything in this game. Fantastic game. Like I said, I'm surprised it's taken me this long to play it. And it's probably up there in my top 5, I would say, because it has everything that I like in this kind of game, and it plays very well. It was a great experience all the way through. I spent hours when I wasn't streaming just watching stuff, swimming around, collecting resources, building things. And I had 8 labelled bases, and I think I had 4 non-labelled bases. 5, if you count the original one I built underneath my pod, because I had the life pod, and then below that was the cross one, was the first one I built. And then I had 8 of them named after our planets, with Mercury and Uranus being the big ones, and then the rest were all little outposts that I used when I was moving around. But then I also built a mini base outside of every single portal when you teleport from the prison area. Every single one of those teleportations had their own little one, so that what I could do is, if I needed resources, I went through a portal, activated the scanner, got all the stuff I needed, took it all back. And I ended up using those fairly frequently to gather resources when I was building that, to building the various bases and things. That was very late game though. Obviously, me doing all of that was more just because I wanted to do it. It wasn't really that it made a huge difference. Anyway, yes, I always like to sum up my gameplay and my game experience at the end, and I think I've done that pretty well. So if you've watched through this series, I know that a lot of people have been watching this on YouTube compared to what my videos normally get. So if you made it through all of this, then yeah, thanks for watching. And so survival crafting games are probably my favourite genre of games. Like The Long Dark is a series I've played a lot. If you haven't seen that, that's one of the earlier ones, and I played. There's like 25 odd episodes of that. But then I've also played The Forest, and I've played other games. And one of the ones coming up that I'm going to be playing soon is Pacific Drive, which is another survival crafting game, but that one, you're based out of a car. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm probably going to put that maybe in the slot after the Subnautica slot, because then people who have been watching Subnautica might watch that one as well. But I don't know if people just tune in for Subnautica because it's a game that's very popular. So if you're here just for that, I also appreciate you watching for that. Yeah, and subscribe. Come see me on Twitch. I think I'm done. Captain Brad, signing out. Thank you, Subnautica, for a fantastic experience. I'm looking forward to playing Below Zero at some point in the future, but I'm going to save it for a time when I feel like I need it. When I've had like a rough run of shit games, or I've had a troublesome few weeks or months of my life, and I need something that I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm saving it for that. I'm looking forward to it already.